Live from Sydney, 7 News with Sally Bowrey.
Good afternoon. First to breaking news. Violence has broken out on the streets of Minneapolis in the US. In the past few hours, demonstrators have set fire to a police station, storming through the corridors of the building. Officers have been attacked with rocks, bricks, even fireworks. Police have fought back, with our US Bureau Chief Ash Mullaney caught in the crossfire as law enforcement moved in.
Run, Cam! 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 This way! Come on, get back to the car!
There are gunshots coming from the crowd.
Extraordinary scenes there. Ash Mullaney joins us live on the ground in Minneapolis, where a violent situation has been unfolding there. Ash, take us through what it's like there at the moment.
Yes, Sal, for a third straight day, we have seen protests turn into full-blown confrontations with police. As you mentioned, that police station has tonight been torched by protesters who knocked down the fence, the perimeter, forcing these officers to flee their own police station. Just extraordinary scenes to witness, and just so much destruction tonight. Buildings, businesses that were either smashed or torched by these demonstrators, angry over the death of George Floyd at the hands of police officers. So just so much anger, so much fury here tonight. Perhaps one of the most frightening moments this evening, though, was hearing so much live ammunition, live gunfire now amongst those protests, prompting paramedics and medics who had been helping some of these protesters to pack up and leave.
I'm walking slow, so if I see anybody that needs help, I have supplies in my backpack. But you heard a few open fires and we kind of ignored it, but then it was pretty consistent. It was probably maybe 20 feet from the tent.
And Ash, this all started as a peaceful protest over the death of George Floyd, who died in police custody.
Yeah, that's right, Sal, and there is now an investigation underway between the FBI and the local prosecutors here in Minneapolis, who are still reviewing video evidence. There was some expectation or thought that perhaps charges would be laid today, but in fact the district attorney has said that he wants to review more video evidence, speak to more witnesses, and has called for the public to be patient. This is what the district attorney had to say.
Sometimes that takes a little time, and we ask people to be patient. We have to do this right, and that's what we'll do.
And tonight, Donald Trump has weighed in on this on Twitter just in the last 20 minutes or so, saying, "I can't stand back and watch this happen to a great American city, Minneapolis. A total lack of leadership. Bring the city under control or I will send in the National Guard and get the job done right. Any difficulty and we will assume control. But when the looting starts, the shooting starts," is what the president has just written on Twitter. These protesters vowing that the chaos will continue until these officers are arrested, Sal.
OK, thanks very much. Ash Mullaney reporting for us there. A zookeeper is fighting for life after she was attacked by 2 lions while cleaning their enclosure on the New South Wales south coast. Peter Fegan sent this report from the scene at Shoalhaven Zoo.
Yeah, well, paramedics were called here to the Shoalhaven Zoo and Adventure World shortly after 10 o'clock this morning. Now, the Shoalhaven is around 2 hours south of Sydney. Now, paramedics, when they arrived, they've described the scene as extremely confronting. In fact, when they entered the lion's cage, both of those lions that were responsible for the attack were still in the cage. But paramedics have assured us, though, that they were being secured by handlers. But a unique scenario all the same.
I've never been in a lion's den before, to be quite fair, but the fact is I was getting my priorities right and focusing on the patient care.
The victim is a female in her 30s. She is now currently in a critical but stable condition in St George Hospital in Sydney. She's suffering neck and head injuries. Now, crews worked on her for several hours before she was airlifted to hospital. The victim was, in fact, moved here from the zoo to a nearby field, so she could be given some better care.
In preparation, in pre-hospital care, we ensured that we did have some bloods available. in case they were required.
Now, as for how this happened, well, police and WorkCover are still trying to figure that out. The investigation is still ongoing. Now, initial reports suggest that the victim was cleaning the lion's cages when she was attacked, and it's also understood that the victim was very experienced and had worked with these lions before. Now, unfortunately, this isn't the first incident that the zoo has encountered. In 2014, experienced zookeeper Trent Burton was feeding a 3.7 metre croc by the name of John when he was pulled into the water. Now, the two lions are still here at the zoo. What happens to them from now is still unknown.
Thank you, Peter. The National Cabinet has met for the first time since states and territories began easing restrictions and people started getting back to their normal lives. Political reporter Taylor Aiken is live for us in Canberra this afternoon. Hello to you, Taylor. Take us through what happened.
Well, Sally, the National Cabinet analysed the health data, including the number of new infections since the states and territories adopted stage 1 of the COVID-safe framework. Across the country, there are now less than 20 new cases each day from over 30,000 daily tests, with over 2 people still on ventilators. The Prime Minister warning that we must not be complacent, with only 2 weeks of data available since the restrictions started to ease.
Are our expectations of 0 cases? No, that has never been our expectation nor our goal. It is still too early to make a judgment about what the health results of that are. And it'll be a week or 2 yet before all the results can be in.
And Taylor, he also revealed a fairly significant change to how federal and state governments will work together in the future.
Yes, Sally, the Prime Minister announced they would be scrapping the usual COAG meetings to be replaced by a monthly meeting of the National Cabinet. It's hoped the move to teleconferencing will help to streamline the way states and territories are able to interact with the Commonwealth.
It's important that ministers at state and federal level talk to each other, but they don't have to do it in such a bureaucratic form with a whole bunch of paperwork attached to it.
But there was no resolution over the border battle between the states, with some leaders pushing back against the Prime Minister's call to reopen borders for the sake of the economy. Sally?
All right, thanks very much, Taylor Aiken, reporting for us there. Well, more restrictions are about to be eased in New South Wales, with cinemas announcing they'll reopen in July. Gatherings will be increased for worship, weddings and funerals from Monday. Reporter Alex Hart is outside St Mary's Cathedral. Alex, what's been the reaction there?
Sally, a huge relief for the faithful. Their prayers finally answered. They had been struggling to understand why 50 people would be allowed to be in pubs and clubs for meals from Monday, but they couldn't have 50 inside a place of worship. Well, now they can, as 7 News revealed last night. Places of worship will be allowed gatherings of 50 people inside, 50 people also at funerals, and 20 people at weddings from Monday.
To many of us, faith is a cornerstone of our lives, and to be able to allow people of faith to come together and to share in that faith is a big part of our life, coming back to normality.
Among the other restrictions lifting on Monday, regional travel will be allowed for holidays, beauty salons can open, so too libraries, museums and zoos. Moviegoers are celebrating too, the Palace Cinema chain announcing it will open on July 2, event cinemas from July 17, but still no date set for gyms to reopen.
I'm hoping to work in more detail with our public health officials to see if we can move that along as quickly as possible, but there's still some work to do.
Just please adopt my roadmap.
More eased restrictions are expected to be announced over the weekend. Health officials encouraged by the latest testing results. Just 2 new cases confirmed in New South Wales out of almost 10,000 more tests. Both of those cases returned travellers from overseas already in quarantine. Sally?
Thank you, Alex. Radio legend Alan Jones has signed off on his long radio career, airing his last breakfast show this morning. Chris Reason is outside the 2GB studios, and Chris, it's the end of an era in broadcasting.
Well, Sally, good afternoon. One of the most powerful voices in the nation today silenced. Alan Jones deciding to call his phenomenal radio career quits after 35 long years. There will be many, of course, who will look at today with relief, Sally, not only Alan Jones's enemies, and there were plenty of those, but the political and powerful that the broadcaster held to account through his take no prisoners interviewing style. His long career began back at rival station 2UE in 1985. He moved to 2GB in 2001, 16 years later, and through the time he's built an incredible rusted-on loyalist fan base that helped him win an extraordinary 226 radio surveys. Today the switchboard was flooded not only with the thanks of those listeners but tributes from everyone from the Prime Minister to sports stars. It was an emotional departure for 79-year-old Jones.
Do we provide for one another stumbling blocks or stepping stones? I hope that over 35 years we've provided some stepping stones. So that's it from me. Together in spirit always, but for now, goodbye.
Now, Jones also joked this morning that he drove his lawyers nuts. The recent costly comments about Jacinda Ardern, Julia Gillard, the Wagner family of Toowoomba led to final ultimatums from management. But Jones insists the final decision wasn't forced by his lawyers, but his doctors. All those 2 a.m. wake-up calls and the intensity of his workload simply declared too much, and they decided time now to hang up the microphone. Sally?
Thank you, Chris. Still to come in Sydney's afternoon news on 7, Prince William opens up about the death of his mother Diana. See what he had to say. President Trump signs an executive order making landmark changes to the way social media companies operate. And Coles and Woolworths make a major announcement. They're changing the way their stores work. See how it'll affect your grocery shop.
Isolation has inspired a revolution.
Aussies have bought 8.5 million punnets of seedlings.
But getting them to produce can be tricky.
I'm going to give you some tips.
Luckily, you have Graham's wealth of knowledge.
Your backyard supermarket is open for business.
New Better Homes, tonight on 7.
G'day, sunshine.
Big day soon, and that dress is the one. So you might need to give up a few things, like smashed avocado. Put your savings into an IMB Bank Reward Saver. Whatever your goal, we'll help you get there.
1, 2, 3, 4. So clap it back. Hey, clap, clap. So clap it back. Hey, I'm getting you right back. 'Cause you're not gonna stand around living like that. So clap it back. Clap it. Clap, clap. Alright. So clap it back. Hey, hey.
Centrum provides multiple health benefits in just one tablet. Centrum, complete from A to Zinc.
Natural gas makes the fire that's sublimely and deeply relaxing.
Hey, Noodles.
Natural gas. Once you've got it, you'll get it.
Harvey Norman has everything you need for your home. Come into our spacious stores for the best of Australian-made. Choose Australian-made timber and fabric beds and customise the fabric, colour and timber stain to suit your home. Our range features the best names in Australian-made mattresses and ensembles. Sealy, Sleepmaker, Beauty Rest, King Coil and Body Balance. Complete your sleep experience with beautiful Australian-made Manchester. Support local manufacturers and choose Australian-made. Everything you need for your home. Browse online and shop in-store. Now at Harvey Norman.
Go!
G'day, sunshine.
Save on the Samsung Galaxy S20 5G on Australia's best 5G. Find out more in-store or online by June 30.
We remain dedicated to helping Australians. We've introduced a help program with a range of relief options to assist customers currently in need. Call us to find out how we can tailor help options for you.
Make sure you're totally ready when it's time to present to your most important audience ever. Unlike ordinary toothpaste, Colgate Total's breakthrough formula actively fights bacteria on your teeth, tongue, cheeks and gums for 12 hours, keeping your whole mouth healthy. Colgate Total. Be totally ready for life.
What if I get coronavirus?
How do I do my rehab now?
Why is it so hard to get out of bed? COVID-19 is impacting us all differently, which is why we've introduced Medibank COVID-19 Health Assist. With direct access to hundreds of healthcare experts, eligible members can receive health advice and support from their homes at no extra cost. Visit medibank.com.au to see how we're providing better support for our members.
G'day, sunshine.
Our top story: riots are now erupting in multiple cities across the US over the death of unarmed black man George Floyd. These pictures are just in from Kentucky, where protesters have unleashed on a police van. There are reports shots have also been fired.
We have shots fired.
There are also unfolding riots across Minneapolis, where the shooting happened. In the past hour, violence has also erupted in Phoenix, Arizona. Prince William has spoken about his mental health battles in a documentary which followed the second in line to the throne for 12 months. William opened up about the death of Princess Diana and his children. Europe Bureau Chief Hugh Whitfeld reports.
Prince William has essentially used the power of football, Britain's most popular sport, to get into communities across the UK and try and get men talking about mental health. For 12 months, a camera crew followed the Duke of Cambridge on his journey around the UK, and many of those players, whether they be professional footballers who earned millions of dollars a year through to blokes who kick a footy around on the weekend down at the park, they have all opened up to the Duke of Cambridge.
Having children is, you know, the biggest life-changing moment. It really is, and I agree with you. I think when you've been through something traumatic in life, and that is, like you say, your dad not being around, my mother dying when I was younger, your emotions come back in leaps and bounds, because it's a very different phase of life, and there's no one there to kind of help you.
William also says one way he deals with his own anxieties by taking his contact lenses out when he's speaking in public so he can't see the crowd in front of him. He says that the taboo surrounding mental health is likely something that harks back to the war, and has warned the current pandemic is scary and mental health services are going to have to improve to meet a big challenge.
The row between Donald Trump and social media has heated up after the president signed an executive order to remove protections on social media giants. The 1996 laws had stopped Facebook, Twitter and YouTube from being sued for blocking content. The order comes after Twitter attached a fact-checking link to tweets from the president about voting ballots. Those companies are reportedly considering legal action. France, Belgium and Italy have all banned the use of hydroxychloroquine to treat coronavirus victims with fears over dangerous side effects. The three countries will only allow medical trials to be conducted using the drug. A British medical journal had reported coronavirus patients taking the anti-malaria drug were experiencing more irregular heart rates. An Oxford Uni trial of the drug involving 40,000 healthcare workers is also on hold. Next in 7's afternoon news, an ominous warning from Sydney Council why drivers are about to be hit with a parking fine crackdown. Plus, fresh violence in the US, gunshots fired. The situation is quickly getting out of control. We'll be live at the scene soon. And in sport with Jim Wilson, the Eels thrash the Broncos as the NRL returns.
Tonight on 7 News with Michael Usher.
A city in flames as riots explode in the United States. A South Coast zookeeper mauled by lions, and the infamous palace letters go public.
Tonight on 7 News at 6.
I'm on the way to Darwin.
You a mad bastard for doing this?
Michael Caton on an unforgettable road trip. Last cut to Darwin. Tonight on 7.
If you're struggling to balance work, life and family, you need to shake it up. Ensure Health Shakes help you get the nutrition you need to help your body build strength from within, with a prebiotic and antioxidants to support a healthy immune system, calcium and protein for muscle and bone health. Put more balance in your work-life balance. Shake it up with Ensure.
Is your home bursting at the seams? Time to call Storage King. With stalls everywhere, there's a location just around the corner. Temporary or permanent solutions with no lock-in contracts and contactless move-ins. Call now and let Storage King give you back some space.
This year has been hard for all Australians, leaving many feeling scared, anxious and uncertain about the future.
So imagine how much harder it is for homeless and vulnerable Australians who don't have ways to protect themselves.
When you donate to Mission Australia, you're investing a seed of hope in Australia's most vulnerable. It may be somebody close to you or someone you know. There's never been a more important time to support them. Donate now at missionaustralia.com.au.
Save on the Samsung Galaxy S20 5G on Australia's best 5G. Find out more in-store or online by June 30.
Your home means more than ever, and so does having the right home loan. To understand your options, go straight to Aussie. We'll help ensure you have the right loan for right now.
Rugby league hardman Corey Parker has won it all. He doesn't do gags, he doesn't do pranks, but he does play KFC Supercoach. Register today at supercoach.com.au.
Is your home bursting at the seams? Call Storage King. Whether you just need to create more space, kids homeschooling, working from home, or your family and business need to declutter, Storage King has the answer. With stores everywhere, there's a location just around the corner. Making Storage King the kings of storage, moving and more. Temporary or permanent solutions with no lock-in contracts and contactless move-in. Call now and let Storage King give you back some space.
I love shopping online for my pets at Pet Circle. I can easily find thousands of products, all with the best price guarantee. These guys are like family and I want to take care of them. But finding their favourite brands is hard and expensive. Then I discovered petcircle.com.au. With Pet Circle, I save on food, treats and litter, all with contactless, free delivery to my door. There's no reason to shop anywhere else. And it seems a lot of people agree. Shop online at petcircle.com.au.
Parking fines have fallen across Sydney in the coronavirus crisis compared to April last year. The amount of tickets issued fell by more than 90% on the northern beaches in Hornsby, Campbelltown and the Sutherland Shire. Figures were also down in the CBD, Mossman, the eastern suburbs, Canterbury, Bankstown, Campbelltown and Parramatta Council areas. City of Sydney Council says its ranges leniency will end next week. Time for sport now with Jim Wilson. Hello to you, Jim.
G'day, Sal.
Para, they powered their way to a big win against the Broncos.
They were very good, the Eels, last night. Sal, good afternoon to you. Afternoon, everyone. Parramatta has smashed Brisbane 34-6 to relaunch the NRL season. The Eels made the most of the new 6-again rule for ruck infringements, scoring a try in the opening minutes.
And there was the example of what the 6-to-go call can do to a defensive line. They were stuck on their heels, Kev, weren't they? Brisbane just could not get off their line.
Para led 12-6 at half-time before scoring 4 unanswered tries in a big second half.
I can see why some judges have got them, as one of the favourites in the competition. They were relentless with building pressure on us.
Broncos skipper Alex Glenn will undergo surgery today after suffering a laceration to his calf. Star centre Katoni Staggs faces a 1 to 2 week ban. In fact, that's a 1 week ban for a high tackle on Dylan Brown. Sharks centre Bronson Xerri met with lawyers today to prepare a response to his positive drugs test. The 19-year-old needs a clear test of his B sample to avoid a multi-year ban for doping. Cronulla coach John Morris says he's shocked and sick in the stomach.
I can't speculate on what he's taken or what he's been given. Our first priority is our duty of care towards Bronson, and we're deeply concerned for his welfare.
The Xerri bombshell came as the NRL proved many sceptics wrong by leading the way for all sporting codes.
Rugby league, I guess, hasn't probably been in that position over time, and to see us leading the way through many, that it was great to see.
The West Tigers face the Sharkies tomorrow evening, proudly fielding 5 local juniors. Teammates say Lance Buddy Franklin is shattered, but there's no chance his legendary AFL career is over. The Swans train without Buddy today after confirmation he's suffered a significant hamstring tear just before the season resumes on June 11. At 33, there are some fears it could finish Franklin.
I don't know who's thinking that, but he'll be back for sure. He's the champion of the game, one of the, if not the greatest player of all time. If people are writing him off, good luck.
Now, Buddy missed 13 games with 2 hamstring injuries last year, and this one is rated slightly worse. Cricket Australia has confirmed the men's and women's international fixtures for the summer, with 3 one-day internationals against Zimbabwe scheduled to start on August 9. Now, the women's team will open their summer against the Kiwis on September 27. Australia's men's team will meet India in a 4-test series in Brisbane, Adelaide, Melbourne and in Sydney.
That assumes that state borders are open to domestic travel. It may be that circumstances dictate that when the time comes, maybe we could only use 1 or 2 venues. We really don't know any of that yet.
Fixtures are scheduled from August right through to February. The Premier League season is set to restart on June 17 with Aston Villa playing Sheffield United and Manchester City versus Arsenal. The league has been on pause since mid-March and will return 100 days after their last game. It's expected that twice-weekly testing for coronavirus will continue when the teams begin contact training. Champion trainer Gai Waterhouse is eyeing big race glory with one of her most promising gallopers. Gai's emerging colt Dawn Passage is the hot favourite for the Fred Best Classic at Doomben tomorrow. The winner earns direct entry into the Stradbroke Handicap on Saturday week. That's seen a COVID-enforced reduction in prize money from $1.5 million to $350,000.
We're going to see trekking back up from last year in it, and yeah, he's certainly a horse to beat.
We'll have all this live racing here at 7. The big races from Doomben, Rose Hill and Caulfield are part of 7's Saturday racing coverage tomorrow. So looking forward to the races tomorrow. Great to have rugby league back. The AFL not far away on June 11. EPL, it's going to be a very big back half of 2020.
Thanks for that, Jim.
Good on you. Thanks, Sal.
Don't go anywhere. Our top stories are just ahead. Gunshots have just been heard on the streets of Minneapolis in the US, where they're on the ground where a riot is raging out of control. We'll get a live update from the scene in a few minutes. Plus, a robber holds a gun to the head of a Punch Bowl shop worker. You won't believe what happened next. Coles and Woolies announced big changes to make your grocery shop easier. And top secret letters from the Queen finally opened. They were written during one of the most tense periods in Australian political history. See what they say next.
They're the Aussie television moments that took our breath away.
You're coming with me.
The characters we love.
I'm a better man for knowing you.
I love you. Love you. The greatest shows are all here. Streaming for free on 7+.
This Saturday with Sportsbet, get the best payout across all 3 tabs with top-toed exotics. Nail a quinella, trifecta or even a quaddie and you'll get the biggest return. Top-toed exotics from Sportsbet.
Dad!
Oh, sorry. It's funny.
Dad!
Party pooper.
Shh. Bring your family together. Introducing Optus Family Plan with 4 SIMs and 250 gigs of data to share.
Rugby league hard man Corey Parker has won it all. He doesn't do gags, he doesn't do pranks, but he does play KFC Supercoach. Register today at supercoach.com.au.
When life gives you dirtiness, Godfrey's gives you cleanliness. With products to keep every surface free from spills, dirt and allergens. For a clean and healthy home, Godfrey's Cleanliness.
It's LTV for me.
It's LTV for me.
More and more people are saying it's LTV for me because the LTV T60 4x4 diesel is from just $27,490 drive away. And eligible businesses may be able to claim the government instant asset write-off. Hurry, offer ends May 31.
We know you've always worked hard for your money. In these uncertain economic times, who do you trust to protect your wealth? Invest with La Trobe Financial, Australia's multi-award-winning wealth manager and leading credit specialist. Trusted by Australians for more than 60 years.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Sally Bowrey.
Welcome back to our Martin Place headquarters. These are our top stories on 7. Shots have been fired at riots in Minneapolis in the US over the death of George Floyd, with major protests playing out in other US cities. A police station and shopping centre have also been torched. A zookeeper is fighting for life after she was mauled by 2 lions at Shoalhaven on the New South Wales south coast. News just in, almost 500,000 Australians are set to receive a government payback of debts wrongly taken off them by the failed robo-debt scheme. And still to come, meet the diver who fought off a monster great white shark with his pole. His incredible story of survival is coming up. A would-be thief was forced to abandon his robbery attempt after a punchbowl shopkeeper refused to meet his demands despite having a gun pointed at her face. Tom Saker has more. Tom, the shop attendant kept her cool.
Well, Sally, while the woman working behind the counter of this small convenience store here in Punchbowl was incredibly brave in the face of danger, police didn't necessarily commend her response to the armed man after she refused to obey his demands while she had a gun pointed in her face. Security cameras captured the man outside the store before he put on a skull mask and pulled a revolver from a plastic bag and entered the store on Wattle Street in Punchbowl last Friday. When he entered, the worker was on her phone and she stayed on the phone while a big handgun was pointed in her face.
He was just pointing the gun in my face and asking for the money. Basically just telling me, hurry up, give me the money.
He demanded money and appeared to become agitated, but her quick thinking and calmness under threat proved to be successful and he left the store empty-handed.
It's a brazen attempt at a very serious offence, an offence that carries a substantial penalty.
Police believe the man was unmasked for about 10 minutes outside the store on the corner of Wattle Street and Acacia Avenue before he attempted to rob the woman. They believe the security vision will help find the man, but they're also hopeful that someone may have dash cam of him just before 5:30 p.m. last Friday. The would-be robber has been described as a man of average height with a receding hairline and of Middle Eastern or Mediterranean appearance. Sally?
Coles and Woolworths will go back to packing customers' bags for them from Monday. Since the pandemic hit, staff were told to make shoppers fill their own bags, similar to the way Aldi operates. And while things are going back to normal, there is a catch. Louisa Cheatley explains.
Good afternoon. Coles and Woolworths customers have been packing their own grocery bags during the pandemic, but with restrictions easing, that is about to change. From Monday, Coles staff will resume packing bags in stores across the country. Customers will be offered a free bag if they wish to replace their old or damaged one. To ensure that they don't end up in landfill, those bags will be recycled in bins located at the front of the supermarket.
The option will remain for customers if you choose to pack your own, and our team members will still maintain a way higher level of sanitisation than pre-COVID. What we are going to make sure, though, is that all the other safety protocols remain. So wiping down trolleys, wiping down baskets. We ask all customers to wash their hands when they come in. This is a change to a new norm, not a return back to the old norm. We have got to keep our stores safe for customers and team members.
Woolworths will also start packing bags again from Monday, the first step in the move to a new normal.
The plexiglass screens will remain at our checkouts. We also have floor markers on the floor for our customers to stand to maintain a really safe 1.5 metres from our team.
And supermarkets say while the restrictions are easing, it's not a complete relaxation. Customers should still practice social distancing in store and stay home if they're feeling unwell.
Returning to our top story, protesters in Minneapolis have stormed and torched a police station in violent riots over the death of an unarmed black man. Live to US Bureau Chief Ashley Mullaney in Minneapolis. Ash, the National Guard has been deployed.
Yes, Sal, the Minneapolis mayor made this order activating the Guard early today. We haven't seen them out and about today. In fact, we haven't seen many police at all. They were driven out of their own police station this afternoon by those protesters who set the police station on fire. Just so many scenes of destruction today, buildings that were torched and businesses that had their windows smashed. All of this protests over the death of George Floyd, killed at the hands of Minneapolis police. The President tonight indicating that he's losing patience with these scenes of violent protests, saying, I can't stand back and watch this happen to a great American city, Minneapolis, a total lack of leadership. Bring the city under control or I will send in the National Guard and get the job done, he wrote, saying any difficulty and we will assume control. But when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Those the words of the President, Sal.
OK, thanks very much. Ashley Mullaney reporting for us there. One-punch killer Kieran Loveridge, who was jailed for 10 years over the death of Sydney teen Thomas Kelly, has been sentenced for a separate attack behind bars. Loveridge received a 12-month fixed sentence over a brawl with a senior Rebels bikie, Matthew Reimer, inside Silverwater Jail in 2018. The 24-year-old will serve the 11-month term concurrently with his sentence for the King's Cross attack. In 2015, Loveridge moved prisons over allegations of an affair with a corrections officer. He'll be released by 2023 if he's granted parole. Police are appealing for help as they try to figure out what happened just before the mother of two, Jodie Lavelle, fell to her death from a city hotel balcony last weekend. It comes after another man died in Cronulla last night. Andrew Denny has the details.
Well, police have set up 2 strike forces to investigate these disturbing cases where 2 people have died after falling from balconies in separate incidents. The first happened here at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in the Sydney CBD just after 8 o'clock last Friday night when a 45-year-old woman fell from the balcony of her 10th floor hotel room. She'd been staying there with her partner, who was questioned by detectives but then released, seen here on the night in a police forensic jumpsuit. Investigators do want to speak with anyone who was in the area who noticed anything suspicious, but they also want to speak with the woman's friends and family about any prior incidents that may have happened before foul play can be ruled out entirely.
This woman was at the prime of her life. She has 2 young daughters. We owe it to the daughters, we owe it to her family and friends.
Now, the second incident happened at 10 o'clock last night when a 64-year-old man fell 5 stories at Cronulla. His friends we spoke with, who were in the unit at the time, say they didn't see what happened but think it was an accident. Police say at this stage it is suspicious and it's likely drugs were involved.
The speech was slurred. You couldn't understand it. And I'm suspecting a stroke.
Now, anyone who can help in either of these cases is asked to come forward and contact Crime Stoppers.
Several of those shipping containers lost overboard off New South Wales are now safely ashore several kilometres up the Hawkesbury River. Serena Andaloro is there and sent this report a short time ago.
Well, this is an incredibly complex operation being coordinated by New South Wales Maritime. Containers are being tugged to Mooney Mooney before being lifted out by crane. Debris is scattered from Port Stephens all the way to Wollongong and spreading fast. An aerial surveillance flight has been mapping the drift patterns from the air, which is currently being charted at a crisis control centre, New South Wales Maritime HQ.
It's really unfortunate and really disappointing to see these types of incidents occur. The environmental impact is quite large, with such a large geographical area now impacted.
The tide has pushed some containers onto rocks, which are proving very difficult to recover. Helicopters may have to be brought in to recover them. The number of missing containers from the APL England has been revised up from 40 to 50 today. One of the containers is classed as having dangerous goods as it contains fire extinguishers. If you see any debris on our beaches, please report it to New South Wales Maritime on 13 12 26 and do not touch it.
Thanks, Serena. Well, they're fast, cheap and completely immune to infection. Drones and robots are right now being rolled out across the US. It's hoped they'll one day play a key role in distributing COVID-19 vaccines to the world. But for now, they're already being put to use by frontline medical staff.
High above the ground, long-range delivery drones are called in to help in the fight against COVID-19. They're carrying emergency supplies, dropping vital aid to hospitals all across the United States. The company who makes them is called Zipline, and this is new territory for its drones. Previously, they've been dropping emergency blood transfusions in remote Rwandan villages for years. Now they're working with the US health system to get supplies to emergency rooms in a matter of minutes at the drop of a parachute.
Zipline drones can fly 100 miles, so it's 50-mile radius. If you think about a drone flying a 50-mile radius, 50 miles in all directions, that's 8,000 square miles.
It's hoped when a vaccine becomes available, these drones will be carrying it, dropping it off to distribution points far more quickly than can be done by any human.
Here we go.
And while we keep our distance, more robots with wheels are going the extra mile. Driverless cars making contact-free deliveries are being trialled. Droids are dropping off food to front doors. It's all technology which was already on its way, now expedited thanks to the pandemic. The advantage, robots can't contract any disease, meaning essential personnel can keep their distance and only come into contact with potentially infected people when they're most needed. Drones are already being trialled here in Australia to clean public places like football stadiums. And with COVID-19 going nowhere fast, it would appear a future among robots is getting closer as we stay apart. Christian Gaupset, 7 News.
We're live to ComSec for the latest on your money. And then the top secret letters from the Queen revealed. See what they say next. Plus, we sit down with a diver who took on a great white shark with a pole and won. Hear his incredible tale of survival. And it's just 9 degrees in Katoomba. I'll have Sydney's forecast soon.
Hello, Angela. I have been watching you.
I came from Africa with nothing but a suitcase. My family is everything. At home, I'm my mom. At work, I'm a boss.
I got a baby. I am Big Brother, and I've chosen you.
I'll do anything to win.
How do you plan to eliminate the others?
I'll sweet talk you during the day and I'll vote you out at night. Mean, but I like it.
I am Big Brother. Who wins? You decide.
Cleansing your sensitive skin with soap is not enough. Try Garnier Micellar Water. Its micelles attract makeup and dirt like a magnet. Remove makeup better than soap. Cleanse and soothe. For powerful cleansing, use Micellar Water by Garnier, naturally.
About 2-3 weeks into Noom, I saw a commercial on TV. I go, Noom should have me on the commercial because I eat candy and ice cream all day.
Noom is made for the real world.
I'm a third-generation candy maker.
It's so sustainable, and I don't have to deprive myself. It corrected all of the bad habits that I had fallen into.
From a both physical and mental standpoint, he's just healthier.
I taste candy every day for a living, and if I can lose weight on Noom, so can you. Visit Noom.com and change your life for good.
Your home means more than ever, and so does having the right home loan. To understand your options, go straight to Aussie. We'll help ensure you have the right loan for right now.
Save on the Samsung Galaxy S20 5G on Australia's best 5G. Find out more in-store or online by June 30.
When cold and flu symptoms strike, a kiss can make them feel better. But for effective relief through the night, there's Nurofen for children. Starts to reduce fever from 15 minutes and lasts for up to 8 hours. Nurofen for children.
Rugby league hard man Corey Parker has won it all. He doesn't do gags, he doesn't do pranks, but he does play KFC Supercoach. Register today at supercoach.com.au.
Natural gas makes the fire that makes even the most ordinary cook more of an expert.
Barry?
Yeah, buddy.
Sorry, what?
Natural gas. Once you've got it, you'll get it.
Get standout deals with Ford's high-vis value. So you can get the Everest Trend 4-wheel drive for only $69.90 drive away. And also get up to 5 years free scheduled servicing. Hurry into your Ford dealer before June 30.
Get into the Good Guys for big bonus buys. Bonus up to $1,000 payless payback on a huge range of TVs. Plus, get hot buys on Samsung TVs, hot buys on LG TVs, and hot buys on TCL TVs. Pay less every day only at the Good Guys.
Snap, crackle and sizzle.
I'm going to break all my own rules.
Ed's cooking steak like he's never dead before. New Better Homes, tonight on 7.
Archaeologists have discovered a 200-year-old shipwreck believed to be a British Navy vessel 35 kilometres off the east coast of Mexico. Cannons, an anchor and copper studs have been found in the remains of the ship, which is now covered by coral reef. More than 70 shipwrecks are believed to dot the ocean floor of the Caribbean, with many sinking between the 18th and 19th centuries. You're watching 7's Afternoon News live across Sydney. Still to come, meet the man who fought off a monster great white. His incredible story of survival is coming up. Let's check in with finance now. Stephen Daglian's at ComSec for us this afternoon. Hello to you, Stephen. A challenging end to a positive week and month for shares.
Good afternoon, Sally. Exactly right. Look, the market fell by about 1.6% today, so it was actually the worst day in a fortnight. But the good news is that the market actually surged by 5% in 5 days. So it was actually the second best week of the year so far. We've had 2 straight months of gains as well, and the market has made up for about 13.5% of the 20% decline that was recorded back in March in just 2 months. So that's at least a positive that things are starting to come back online, and that's encouraging investors somewhat. But today there were losses from 5 companies that made all the damage. That was the big 4 banks, which were the best this week, but the worst today, and also CSL, Australia's biggest company. The Aussie dollar finally 66.5 US, Sally.
OK, thanks, Stephen. Stephen Daglian at ComSec for us this afternoon. The High Court has ruled in favour of releasing never-before-seen palace letters that were written during the time of the Whitlam dismissal. Let's go to Chris Marr. Chris, what do we know what's contained in the correspondence between the Queen and the former Governor-General?
Well, an enduring mystery over what role, if any, the Queen played in the Whitlam dismissal may soon be resolved after a ruling today by the High Court in favour of a legal bid to have the so-called palace letters released. They are correspondence between the then Governor-General Sir John Kerr and Buckingham Palace in the lead-up to the 1975 dismissal of the Whitlam Labor government. Historian Jenny Hocking argued the 211 letters and attachments are a public record and should be released. The National Archives argued that in fact they are personal documents. Now that the High Court has declared that they are Commonwealth records, it's asked the archive to reconsider the letters' release, and it remains to be seen when that will happen. Jenny Hocking says it should be as soon as possible.
It's a wonderful decision for transparency, for accountability of government, but most importantly it's a really, really important decision for knowing the full story of the dismissal of the Whitlam government.
The Republican movement has welcomed today's judgment, saying the Australian public has a right to know what role the palace played in Australia's biggest constitutional crisis. The monarchy movement, meantime, says it's confident the letters will show very little, and certainly not that the Queen played a role in Gough Whitlam's removal.
A new ad campaign is telling Australians it's never been a more important time to buy Australian-made products. The campaign is a modern twist on the successful 1986 ad, which featured John Williamson's classic Hey True Blue, which was commissioned by then Prime Minister Bob Hawke. This new ad showcases Australia's agriculture and manufacturing sectors. Applications to use the Australian-made logo on products has risen 400% since March. Sydney 6pm News is coming up with Michael Usher. Hello to you, Michael. What are you working on in the newsroom?
Hi there, Sally. Here's what we have for you tonight. We're live to Minneapolis, where violence, as you've seen, is escalating and that city is burning. It all began with the death of an African-American man in police custody. Now it's the police under attack. Our reporter on the ground has witnessed the brutality firsthand. We'll bring you the latest at 6. Plus, mauled by lions, a zookeeper south of Sydney flown to hospital with life-threatening injuries. What led to that vicious attack? $700 million refund. It's breaking this afternoon. The government scraps its controversial robo-debt scheme, with nearly 500,000 debts now set to be waived. We'll find out who's set to benefit from that. And how's this for bravery? The woman who stared down an armed robber, forcing him to flee with nothing. We speak to that fearless shopkeeper. And 5 years interest-free, but is there a sting in the tail, making the most of those retail offers and finding the best deal for your budget? So, Sally, we'll have that for you. Plenty more, of course, coming up in Sydney's 7 News tonight at 6 o'clock.
All right, thanks, Michael. See you then. It is 4:39. Let's get a check on Sydney's traffic.
Good afternoon.
afternoon. Marina Ivanovic here in the Sydney Blinds and Screens traffic chopper. If you're heading through Beverly Hills, we've got a breakdown for King George's Road as you make your way southbound, and also heavy southbound delays through Strathfield, a multi-vehicle accident for Centenary Drive, as you can see here, with a bit of a spillage and delays back through to the M4. Change your blinds with Sydney Blinds and Screens this change of season with massive savings across a huge range. Visit sydneyblinds.com.au today, and a friendly reminder to wear gloves when filling up at the petrol station.
A diver from South Australia has managed to survive a terrifying shark attack by fighting off the predator with a pole. Daryl Carrison had just left the protection of his dive cage when the monster great white shark struck. Peter Caldecott reports.
An abalone diver for 30 years, Daryl Carrison will never forget yesterday's trip to Scale Bay. He was underwater 12 metres from his cage when suddenly...
I looked up to my left-hand side. There was a great white swimming alongside of me, just slightly behind me.
Daryl had left his GoPro on the boat, but he says the great white looked very similar to this one. It circled the murky water as he desperately tried to make it back to the cage to turn on the shark shield.
But it had been bumped on during the day or the day before, and it was completely flat.
Then the shark came straight at him.
It was right there, basically an arm's length away from me, about 2 foot across the head, just staring at me at shoulder height.
Daryl's luck changed when he found a steel rod on the ocean floor.
I grabbed it and I launched out and hit him near the tail. After I hit it, its mouth opened right up. Like it looked very agitated. It just arched its back harder and sleazed off into the murky waters.
Incredibly, Daryl's not put off by his chilling encounter.
As soon as the weather comes good, I'd almost went to work today. I've had friends eaten by them and bitten by them, so it's a realistic thing to happen to you.
Peter Caldecott, 7 News.
Next in 7's Afternoon News, I'll have your weekend weather forecast right across Sydney.
It's already been a season like no other.
I've been kicking the footy with my kids.
I've been playing in the backyard.
But the time has come.
Now we're back. We can't wait to be on the field.
To witness them in battle, there's nothing on earth like it. When they cross that white line, they become something else.
There it is, there it is! Got to get going, I've got to be bold.
And he's got it. When the footy returns, go to the footy on 7.
Go to the footy on 7.
Go to the footy on 7.
The season returns Thursday, June 11.
Oh. Hi.
Hi, Mum, it's me. I'm just checking in.
Oh, hi, darling. Can you hear me?
Yes, but it's a video call, so move the phone away from your ear.
No, away on. Can't see you. Oh, yeah, there you are. Hi.
So good to see your face, Mum.
You too, dear.
You don't need Australia's best network until you do.
Bye. Shut up and take my money.
Hi, Chris. As one of our Care Super members, let's go see your super at work. Hold on. I'll show you some of the opportunities and possibilities that are being explored for you. Your super should work as hard as you do, so we're making sure it does.
At Coles, you can save on indulgent ice cream, like Buller's Murray Street range, including caramel maple and macadamia, made with fresh Aussie milk. Right now, the entire range is half price. Coles, good things, great value.
The stylish Haval H2, a globally engineered, European-designed and feature-packed SUV. From just $22,990 drive away, Haval H2 Auto. New car thinking.
Don't miss a moment. New by Solven Duo Syrup is a 2-in-1 formula traditionally used to soothe an irritated throat and relieve an associated dry cough. By Solven Duo. Moments uninterrupted. On special this week at Coles.
At Apia, we're all about possibilities. So if you're driving less, we offer comprehensive motor insurance with a drive less, pay less discount. Apia, get set, go. Call 13 50 50.
One giant contender.
You've got through 13 questions in a minute, which is going to make you a danger man.
One giant offer.
$60,000.
Here I am, David versus Goliath. All leading to one giant upset.
What happened?
But for who? Knew the chase. Coming up next on 7.
This weather report proudly brought to you by Australian Red Cross.
Huge cashback offers, historic deals, not a cent in interest for 5 years. What's on offer and which deals stack up best? 7 News, 6 o'clock.
A theme park in the Netherlands has celebrated its reopening by inviting some very special guests to have the first ride on its roller coaster. 22 stuffed teddies were strapped in for the ride of their lives. They reach speeds of more than 90 kilometres per hour. They'll now be transferred to the park's prize hall following their wild experience. Time now to have a look at the weather, and on the satellite, a strong cold front is just crossing the southwest of WA, generating some gusty rain and storms. Into tomorrow, southerly winds will drive showers along the New South Wales and southeast Queensland coasts. Around the capital cities for tomorrow, Brisbane 24 degrees and partly cloudy, dropping down below zero tonight in Canberra, 17 degrees in Melbourne, 19 in Adelaide. Looking ahead, and we should see a mostly fine start to the weekend. Saturday, a top of 20 degrees, warming up to 21 on Sunday with some warmer weather for the start of next week. And that is Sydney's 4 p.m. news for this Friday. Michael Usher will bring you 7 News at 6. I'm Sally Bowrey. Stay with 7 Now for the Chase Australia. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great night. Bye for now.